Insecure transmission. Good morning, 007.
In 1997, the world would be forever changed by a video game. In the same way the bedrock of human existence was shaken by fire, the wheel, and the Snuggie, an entire generation of future leaders abandoned the path of productivity when they discovered the wonders of four-square, split-screen multiplayer. If you were around back then, you know the game, and you've probably never forgotten the name.
Nice work, James.
Just like old times.
This is the long-awaited return of a game that, for my generation, defined high school more than algebra or biology ever could. This is GoldenEye 007, the Nintendo 64 classic remade and reborn for the Nintendo Wii. You know a game's special when any discussion about it invariably prompts dozens of personal stories, and like most of you I imagine, I've got plenty. First off, my friends and I always referred to this game with reverence as simply Bond. So for the rest of the review, don't confuse my habitual brevity with anything less than utmost respect.
Beforehand, like we don't have enough to do already.
Oh, and one time, a buddy of mine beat 3 of us blindfolded. I know you think I'm kidding, but I'm serious, blindfolded. And that's the kind of memories this game brings to mind before you even load the disc. That's powerful stuff, and fortunately for Bond, so is the game itself. For those who had the tragic misfortune of missing out on the original game during its heyday, GoldenEye 007 was a first-person shooter developed by Rare exclusively for the Nintendo 64. And if you play modern console-based shooters, chances are you have Bond to thank for them. In addition to its legendary split-screen deathmatches, it made several other advancements to the genre while maintaining its own distinct sense of character. But let's get this out of the way right up front. Bond isn't the same game on Wii that it was on Nintendo 64. This is a different game for a different time. It doesn't revolutionize the FPS the way it did 13 years earlier, and in some ways it does feel a bit old-fashioned, but that's part of what makes GoldenEye 007 00 awesome. The new Bond may not have been developed by its original creators, but it was handled by a competent studio. The team at Eurocom proved itself with 2009's Dead Space Extraction, and the same kind of polished visuals, tight control, and outstanding storytelling that made Extraction so good also benefit Bond. Obviously, though, there are some discrepancies between the original and the new Bond from a storytelling perspective. Some characters have been cut, some story elements have been tweaked, and of course, perhaps most importantly, Pierce Brosnan's James Bond has been replaced with Daniel Craig's. Now, that does change the tone of the game a bit, from Brosnan's over-the-top character to Craig's grittier tone, but really it doesn't make much difference. What really matters is the gameplay, and that's where Bond shines once again. Bond has always been known for balancing pure shooting action with unique stealth mechanics. Now, unlike its predecessor, this game places a bit more emphasis on gunfights, likely in an attempt to appeal to that Call of Halo Medal of Duty crowd, but it still strikes an impressive gameplay balance. Bond never gets tiresome or tedious, and although some of its conventions may seem old-fashioned, it most certainly never gets old.
Don't even breathe. Punch in the security codes. Override the lockdown. Punch in the codes.
Are you going to kill me?
No.
The game's satisfying pace is complemented by its satisfying combat. Shooting Bond's enemies feels even better on Wii thanks to its pointer-based controls. And unless you're a hardcore shooter fan trained on dual analog sticks, Wii's controls are really a breakthrough for first-person shooters. And they make what was already awesome gameplay even better. Now, the game does include support for the Wii's classic controller, But honestly, the best way to play Bond is with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. It enables pixel-perfect precision that you just can't get from analog sticks. You can pop off headshots simply by pointing at the screen. And subtle wrist movements certainly beat fumbling with your thumbs, both in terms of speed and accuracy. But that's sort of standard for Wii shooters, at least the really good ones. And what makes Bond stand out is the degree of control you have over the controls themselves. You can adjust everything from the reticule sensitivity to rotation speed, which allows Bond to play exactly how you want it to. Of course, as you did in 1997, you'll want to play Bond with friends. The game includes a variety of 8-player online modes, and they all work exceptionally well. I didn't run into a single moment of lag, I was thrown into matches quickly, and although voice chat support would have been nice, this is destined to become one of the Wii's very best choices for online multiplayer. But this is Bond after all, and the real draw for multiplayer is the time-honored tradition of local split screen. It's back with great new maps, it's fully featured, and it's every bit as fun as you remember. In fact, Undertow's own Kevin and I are playing here, after we of course agreed that Oddjob would be off limits. The original Bond was one of the defining moments of its generation, but that was a long time ago, and the gaming landscape has changed quite a bit since then. In 1997, Bond was the only kid on the block. Now there's a Halo or a Call of Duty around every corner. With a new team supplying its ammunition and bigger, badder shooters flanking it from almost every angle, the new Bond faced serious doubts prior to its release. Doubts that I shared, to be honest. And doubts that the excellent GoldenEye 007 quickly puts to sleep.
He's mine.